Jujutsu Kaisen's most recent episode had me shocked, honestly. Not because necessarily the contents in the episode, as I am a manga reader, but mainly because of how well produced the episode was and how well it held itself together. Because honestly, the most recent episode of Jujutsu Kaisen looks on par with a lot of the hidden inventory episodes of the series, which is definitely amazing to see. As we've seen with a lot of episodes during Shibuya, because the schedule, the animators really can't complete their works. We see that blatantly just with the amount of problems, especially in episodes 17 and 18. Episode 17 is especially sad because it literally could have been the best animated episode of anime. I think it just goes without saying a lot of the problems in episode 18. But episode 19, while it has a small amount of issues that I don't really feel the need to mention, it is still largely a really well put together episode. So let's have a brief talk about the episode and a lot of the things I liked about the episode from a visual standpoint, because there's so much to appreciate here, and we can talk about a lot of the names behind this episode as well. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Now, in terms of episode director and storyboarder, this episode was handled by Naoki Miyajima. That name sounds familiar to you, and we've already addressed this episode on my channel before. It's because Naoki Miyajima actually handled episode 3 of Hidden Inventory, which was his directorial debut, and honestly, even now with all the crazy action episodes we've had, it's still a standout episode as one of the best action episodes of the series. Likewise, I definitely feel the same way about his episode today. I feel like there's so much momentum and energy that is packed into the action that Miyajima presents. Judging from the episode and episode 3, I feel like he's absolutely phenomenal at handling the quieter moments of the series as well, with less action. Especially when it comes to gorgeous looking shots to pull off that really captivate the viewer, mixed with good use of audios, honestly. The beautiful drawings stacked up with a soft OST that accompanied Nobara in her death, before taking that away with a more dark tone as Nobara's name is uttered to the credits. Definitely reminds me of the incredibly beautiful Rico drawings in Hidden Inventory, followed by the amazing outro theme before it was taken all away by a single gunshot, as the word die uttered with rage sends us into the credits. I love Miyajima's ability to switch the tone like that. It is so amazing to me. Also helps that the art direction in a lot of these quieter moments was also really nice. A lot of these straight up reminded me of Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Incredible because there's some episodes where the art direction was definitely lacking and giving me a season 1 type vibe, especially episode 14. To talk about the action, I think it was incredible, like I said. About the highlight animators in my opinion being Yuto and Kos Kato. Yuto did a large amount of key animation this episode. He did over a minute's worth of content, and like you'd guessed, it is largely Canada style animation. I definitely think the standout was this cut. I love all the background animation in this cut, and Yuto has some pretty satisfying effects animations here as well. Yuto has done a ridiculous amount of key animation this season. He's not even a main animator, but he's kind of acting like it. He did incredible work on Miyajima's episode. He did an absurd amount of work on episode 7, followed by episodes like 11, the production hell that was episode 14, and now the most recent. He has expressed incredible disappointment with his cut on the most recent episode. It's definitely tough to see. I hope we don't see him on the rest of the season, and I hope this man can really catch a break because he really did a large amount of work this season. His incredible Canada style animation for Nobara's fights. There's so much force that is built up with a lot of these attacks, especially with incredibly strong poses. Basically, you'll see the trademark things like the cross flares and the effects animations. You switch from the effects animations to the first person perspective of the blood effects. Such an incredible touch. Yuto is just a monster, guys. Obviously, that leads into what I consider one of the best cuts in Jujutsu Kaisen period. Kos Kato and his animation is literally ridiculous. Kos Kato is my favorite Canada animator, and there's a reason for it. The raw demon look of Yuji with the inky smears on him that Kos Kato is known for. His hands covered in these thick smears. The background animation, the incredibly wide poses. I love everything about Kos Kato's animation. This action scene where Yuji is just beating the hell out of Mahito. It is so reminiscent of a lot of the Sungwoo Park choreography scenes that we see in season 1. Honestly, I really just like this better. I did this in episode 13 as well. Kos Kato did. But this is probably just my favorite. It could be recency bias, but my goodness. Now, likewise, I also hope Kos Kato does not show up after this episode. Based on just how complete this cut of animation is, it's likely that Kos Kato really did overtime. Really went all in to put as much into this cut as possible, despite the schedule just not allowing for it. And it's likely that it was detrimental to his health. It's definitely detrimental to his mental health, as he's talked about a lot of unfortunate things pertaining to that because of the conditions he's under, which should never happen to anyone. It is incredibly unfortunate. However, Kos Kato literally fought against all odds to put out another top tier cut. Like I said, he worked in episode 13, he worked in episode 7, he worked in episode 3. Again, doing incredible animation, some of the best animation on the entire show. At this point, I definitely think this man needs a rest. He's definitely shown what a main animator is. He's definitely inspired me heavily. Next thing I want to talk about is the 3D backgrounds. There's a fair amount of 3D backgrounds used in this episode, much like last episode, but like I mentioned before, the animation does largely keep up with the 3D backgrounds. There was definitely some weird stuff going on in the previous episode, some weird cuts, obviously due to the poor schedule. But again, against all odds, this episode was incredibly well put together. Overall, I think this is definitely one of the best looking episodes of the series. It's definitely a standout episode. It was incredibly well directed. Really good action throughout the episode, and I definitely think it's a incredible close off to Nobara in this arc of Shibuya. Staff really pulled through and put together an episode that, you know, shouldn't look as good as it did, but that's just how talented these people are. Unfortunately, it comes to the sacrifice of these people's mental health and physical health. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe and ring that notification bell so you can get caught up whenever I post a video. I have other videos planned for this week, so definitely stay in tune for those. I can't wait for you guys to see them either this week or next week. I'm Debunked by Aaron, and I'm signing out.